shocker, this, Danny. 75-year-old out doing a 5K run, finishes, doesn't feel well, has a stroke, and doctors say, I'm sorry, you've got a year at best to live. That is just horrendous.
Yeah, it's really sort of sad and devastating news. Obviously for Sven, his family, his close friends, and everybody that knew him. Obviously, he's come out publicly and said, he's got a year to live. The sad reality is, I think we all realise when you're told that's the maximum. It's very, very difficult to get to that. There are people that go on and fight through it and go beyond that, and we hope that's the case. But yeah, really, really sad news, because I think when you look back, and Sven will have his detractors, and he'll have people that say he wasn't particularly successful with England and all the rest of it. But he was a new era of manager. When you go back to when Arsene Wenger came in, of the teacup throwing, screaming, shouting managers, Arsene Wenger came in and changed that. Sven-Goran Eriksson. I don't ever remember Sven raising his voice, let alone shouting. Incredibly knowledgeable about football. It is, very, very intelligent. Alongside his assistant for many, many years, Tord Grip. But yeah, I spoke 5, 6, 7 languages at times. I had him in Manchester City as a club manager, where he would speak to every single player in their own language.
Wow.
Which for us,
class.
Us English players was a little bit confusing, because we had no idea what he was saying to everybody else. But yeah, just a very, very sad day.
I believe Athol Still was a swimmer, ex-top swimmer from Aberdeen, was sort of a bit of an advisor to Sven as well. I was saying earlier, Danny, something was said on radio and I didn't quite understand it, and we were arguing about it, and I got the shout, come to Les Ambassador, a casino in Park Lane. Sven's there having a bit of lunch and a coffee. I'll explain it all to you. And I went up there, and he was sounds a pound. Lovely he was. Really, really nice. Explained everything. He also sorry, go on, Dan.
I think that's how he was. He was very sort of quietly spoken. His team talks were almost a whisper at times, but he would sit down and he would explain things very, very simply, but in great detail. And I know that sounds a bit of a conflict, but that's how he was. I think, at times he was mocked for maybe his accent and other sort of idiosyncrasies that he had. But yeah, in terms of football, incredibly intelligent, knew, I think, as much about the game as anybody that I've ever met.
What about City? He came to City when I think you were still there, Dan, weren't you? What impact did he have at City?
He brought in lots of flair foreign players, tried to change the whole dynamic of the football club. Obviously, there was just starting to get an awful lot of money back then. And if I'm honest, he was brilliant to me. I'd been injured. I'd suffered a couple of broken legs sort of back to back. And he brought in the likes of Milano, Jorginho. He had come into the football club, Charlie Korluka, the Croatian. And he was very open and honest with me, and was quite happy, to allow the senior players to do their thing and be respectful. He told me I wasn't going to play because I'd been out for a couple of years, but he then said it's mine. I can sit on the bench and sort of twiddle my thumbs and pick up my wages. Or if I wanted to, I could go out on loan and go and play football. He was quite happy to leave that decision to me. And I was very respectful of that. He was good in that way. He was very, very good with the players and allowing you to make your own decisions. But yeah, his spell at City wasn't particularly long. I think, that was the way he was. He came in, had an impact, then left and moved on to pastures new.
Yeah. Dan, just
sad news.
Really sad. Just moving on to the weekend, a couple of your clubs. City go to Newcastle, big game. They can't afford to lose too many more. And Leeds, of course, is it Preston Leeds have got? Now Leeds have got to get back on a winning run.
Yeah, the Championship, we know it. Leicester are flying at the moment. Ipswich have had a little bit of a stutter, but they're still up there. Southampton look good, look strong. Leeds will be in there. There's probably 4 or 5 teams fighting for the 2 places. Well, probably 1, actually. I don't think anybody is going to catch Leicester. They're absolutely superb. at the moment, even though they've got a few players away at the African Cup of Nations. The likes of Tom Cannon have come in and hit the ground running, so they're doing incredibly well. But City, they've just got to keep putting pressure on. Liverpool without Mo Salah, that doesn't seem to have affected them too much at the moment. City have just got to make sure they stay in the hunt. They can't afford to lose too many more games. But obviously having the likes of Kevin De Bruyne back is absolutely massive for them.
Absolutely. Dan, look, great. Sad news, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, cheers, Dan.
Talking about Sven. So it's if you just joined us, Sven was out jogging. He's 75 now.
Yeah.
Sven-Goran Eriksson, of course, didn't feel well, had a stroke. Doctors give him the sad news that, at most, he's probably got a year to live with cancer. It's horrendous.
Horrendous.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.